president's future in flux, the media trying to give VP Harris a little bit of a boost despite her penchant for word salads and also the exodus of staff members from her office. An LA Times op-ed entitled "Why You Shouldn't Underestimate Kamala Harris" in all the speculation about a post-Biden 2024, defended her, arguing that the VP job was subservient and diminished her historic role of being the first woman of color to hold the office, increasing the gap between reality and expectation. All right, Tammy, I'm going to come to you first because
I have no opinion about this.
They keep saying
That's not
that he's going to run again in 2024, but most people can stand back, look at the situation, and say he's not up to the challenge.
Of course.
But the Democrats have nobody else.
He said originally that he was going to be a one-term president. He said that early on in the campaigning. And to blame the office for her behavior or the impact she's had is, as a feminist, as wanting more women in power, but not just any woman, but this idea that we need to have a larger pool so that women move into positions of power. But in order to encourage women to do that and to encourage the confidence of the American people is to have a woman in office who knows what she's doing. Now, you can be a woman and not know what you're doing, or you can be like a genius. There is a whole variety of things that women make up. For the Democrats,
that's bad for women, right?
For Democrats to choose a woman who would give a bad impression, who would not do the job properly. Look, that is a party that has a problem with race. It has a problem with women, and this is an indication of that. Now, of all the efforts, if you found out she wasn't up to the job, then that should have been job one for the entire party. Get her prepared. Make this change. But in fact, there's a lot of talent. There's talented Democratic women, talented Republican women, talented independent women. We're just overflowing with talent. You've got to make a choice to screw up this badly. And you've got to mean to send a message that, oh, Americans are thinking, well, maybe women aren't up to the job. How dare she put us in that position? Because that is what she's done, and she doesn't care because she was elevated into the VP position. She figures she'll be elevated into the next one.
Right.
Americans have to make sure that doesn't happen.
Well, let me ask you this, David, because I thought when she came on the scene, first woman vice president, woman of color as well, she had a tremendous opportunity. And I also agree with Tammy. I think she has squandered that opportunity and really sort of just really gave it away. And so you watch these clips of her word salad moments and her cackling laugh, and she'll say one thing and then she changes her mind and she's gone 100 different directions. She had one job at the border, can't do the job. And you just sit back and say, how could you do this? You were supposed to be a role model.
Well, maybe the American public, the ones that in the primary couldn't get her above 2%, saw what I saw. She was a failed attorney general who ran up the number by prosecuting lower-level offenders, never the people in charge, especially when it came to drugs and gangs. She was never qualified for the job. You can only have an opportunity if you're ready to do the job, to take the opportunity. Kamala Harris is incompetent. That has simply been her performance throughout her history. It has nothing to do with her being a woman. She is incompetent. She just happens to be a woman. And we've seen that play before, time and time again, with politicians who are brought in because they fit the right narrative. This dark-skinned woman from California, liberal votes, will drive the rest of the nation to get Joe Biden, the old white man, out of the basement and into the office. That's what people bought.
Horrible thing.
And the failure is clear. The border is a tragedy that kills over 100,000 Americans with fentanyl overdoses. Yeah. That's on her.
But David, why wouldn't the media think that they can support and prop up a failed candidate? They did that with Joe Biden, right? But they had COVID. They had Joe Biden in the basement. They were able to cover for him, run interference for him, and he was elected. They think they can do the same for Kamala Harris. They're not going to have COVID, number one. And number two, Kamala Harris, again, was a failed presidential candidate. Again, 2% in the poll. She's one of the first candidates out. And then we've seen her as vice president. She couldn't hide in the basement. She actually had to speak. And if you're in politics, by the way, I know this, you have to speak publicly. You have to make sense when you speak publicly. You can't have word salads. And then, listen, this is a poor performance for a member of Congress, let alone the VP who thinks that they can make it to the presidency. The media cannot save her. She can't save herself. she's done after this.
But what they're doing is they're crafting a narrative. The word subservient. Hold it.
Yeah.
You're the Vice President of the United States. There is nothing subservient about that position.
Yeah.
Own it.
They're trying to craft this narrative for the left base to do this and drive it that, well, she was a victim. She was the girl. She was the little girl when Joe Biden was hanging out with segregationists. They're going to play it all over again. And unfortunately, Republicans better watch this. There are enough Americans who are ignorant of issues to go out and vote for the image of the first black woman president of the United States. And that's what we need to watch out for.
We're going to get that person. We're going to get that woman, and she's going to be amazing. And it's not going to be Kamala Harris.
She will be qualified.
She will be qualified
Tammy
and
Bruce.
amazing.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.